You're right, babes. Welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets, and drama. So, I am back for another Have Your Say series.
Mother has arrived!
And this is for Drag Race UK Season 7 Meet the Queens. So today we're going to be going through the Meet the Queens video and meeting the cast of the new season, going through the results of the Have Your Say poll where you at home get to vote on what you think about the promo and the Meet the Queens. And we'll be talking about a little bit of recent drama to do with Lexi Love being threatened with legal action over her name. All that and more coming up in today's video, governor, so let's get started. Okay, so let's start by going through the Meet the Queens. The first thing we'll talk about is, I guess, the general style of the Meet the Queens and the promo, because that was the first thing I asked about in the Have Your Say poll. So we can see from the season poster promo that it's kind of this, I guess, jewels, diamonds, very just like gemstones and things like that. They haven't done that before. I personally thought it was cool, I guess. It's like pretty standard, jewels, drag queens, it's not exactly reinventing the wheel.
You ain't got to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is fine, girl. You ain't got to reinvent the wheel. Ain't nobody got to reinvent the wheel. You ain't got to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already reinvented. You ain't got to reinvent the wheel.
But I do think it's like colorful, cool, and it works perfectly well. So for me, I thought it was fine. I asked you in the Have Your Say poll for question 1 to rate the overall theme for the promo, and you gave it more votes in the kind of 3 and 4 star out of 5, and most of the others it was kind of split. So it seems like you mostly thought it was okay, kind of average, but maybe average towards upper middle average. It was fine. It wasn't reinventing the wheel, but it was perfectly serviceable, which incidentally was how they described me in prison. Okay, so let's actually get into the queens themselves, and I'll go in order in which they appeared. And the first queen was page 3. One interesting thing I saw on the Drag Race wiki, which is obviously the font of all knowledge, is that Paige is actually the drag daughter of Sasha Colby, who is obviously the season 15 winner on the US version. I really liked Paige. I thought she was very funny. She talked about the fact that she's like kind of a geek and really silly and everything. I really enjoyed that side of it. Very kind of typical British, saying like, oh, I'm a silly cow and all of that. I liked her look as well. Definitely the makeup and something about her really gives me vibes of another queen, but I can't think which queen it is that I'm thinking of. But when I see her, I keep thinking of another queen, but I just can't think of who it is. So let me know in the comments if you think she's got like a Drag Race doppelganger somewhere. And in terms of the Have Your Say poll results, for each queen, I asked you to rank their personality and their outfit from kind of highest, high, okay, through to low, and then lowest. And for Paige, we can see that she got the highest amount in the highest category for both personality and outfit. And she actually didn't really get any votes in the low or the lowest. So she basically scored high in both categories. And I would definitely agree with that. After that, we had Tayris Mongardi from Brighton. I really liked Tayris. She was very fun and she had a really big personality. One of the things she said that I thought were really funny, she said, I can't do cardio, but I can run my mouth. And in terms of her outfit, I really enjoyed it. I really liked the upper part, especially. It was very kind of sculptural and it was something very intriguing to me. And it was something a little bit different to what everyone else had done. So I definitely really liked both her personality and the look. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, interestingly, Tayris got the highest proportion in the okay category for personality. And in terms of the outfit, again, I was kind of confused because I really enjoyed the outfit, but it seems that maybe you had a different opinion because you voted mostly for the low category and then the next one was the okay. So definitely towards like the bottom end. After that, we had Sally TM from South Shields. I thought she came across as really quirky and fun. She was definitely giving me kind of elfy kind of vibes, a little bit like Dawn on the season 16 of the US. Very kind of pixie, elfy, that kind of thing, and like a little bit goofy, but also quite fashion and that sort of style. So I'm definitely looking forward to what she can bring kind of from the fashion point of view, because she definitely said that's something that she thinks that she'll excel in, is like a design challenge and things like that. And another interesting thing I saw on the Drag Race wiki again is that Sally actually has type 1 diabetes and she's an ambassador for Diabetes UK, which is a diabetes research organization. So I thought that was also quite a cool little factoid. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, for personality, Sally definitely got the highest amount in the high and then the okay category. And in terms of the outfit, she got the highest amount in the high category and then the second amount was in the highest. So definitely towards the top end. Next up, we had Bones from London. So interesting fact is that Bones is actually in the same drag family as Crystal Versace, who was the winner of Drag Race UK Season 3, and also Dee Dee Licious, who was a contestant on Drag Race UK Season 5. And I think when you know that information, you can definitely see that in the makeup. She definitely has that very signature style of kind of angular, snatched, especially the eye makeup. One thing I found very interesting about Bones was that she maybe wasn't as big and loud as some of the others were in their Meet the Queens, but she definitely came across as having a lot of experience, a lot of poise, but also she kind of said she might be goofy in private when she's in the shower, but then when she's in public, she's very kind of like snatched and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like they were kind of pushing that storyline that maybe she's going to potentially be the shady one or like the villain or whatever, because she was saying, I don't like, you know, flat hair or bad outfits. And I wonder if that's going to be the storyline. I personally really enjoy that sort of queen though, because you need someone who's going to ruffle some feathers and give us some entertainment. And she did come across very well. And I really liked her outfit. Her outfit was one of my favorites. So I thought she did well in both categories. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, Bones got the highest amount in the high category, and then the second after that was the highest, so definitely towards the top end. And then for outfit, personally I would have put the most in the highest category because I really enjoyed her outfit. You gave mainly high, and then it was sort of equal between highest but also okay. After that we had Nyan Bella from London. So Nyan Bella is actually of Cameroonian descent.
All the way from Cameroon!
And she's actually the third queen in Drag Race history to be of Cameroonian descent. The first obviously being Bibi Sahara Benet, who was the winner of Drag Race US Season 1, but also Kiara from Canada's Drag Race Season 1 is also of Cameroonian descent. I thought she came across very sweet and nice, so she was definitely a bit more soft-spoken than some of the others. In terms of her outfit, I did really like it. I thought the color was really well. She looked amazing. It fit very well. It was maybe tiny bit on the slightly simpler end compared to some of the other outfits, but I think that the way that she did it was really good. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, you gave her very high ratings in the personality. So high came out on top, and then highest was then the second highest. And interestingly, for outfit, it seemed like maybe you were slightly polarized in some ways, because there was a very high amount in the high category, but then there were also quite a lot in the okay and the low. So I don't know, I guess maybe some of you felt maybe it was because of how simple it was, but then I do think it looked amazing. After that, we had Elle Vosk from Belfast, Northern Ireland. I really enjoyed Elle. I thought she was very fun, very Irish. I love the Irish accent. I think everything they say just sounds so, so charming. And I just feel like she came across very well. She kind of clearly has a very fun personality. She has a good time. She doesn't necessarily take herself too seriously, but I also really liked that she looks quite glamorous and she has that air about her as well. So I do quite enjoy the both sides of like the silliness, but also the glam as well. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, for the personality section, you actually voted the most in the okay category. After that was high, but I don't know, I personally would have gone more towards the high. I thought she did come across really well and she was very funny and likable. So I don't know. Maybe some of you just couldn't understand the Irish accent. I don't know. Let me know in the comments.
Capital murder to you there, RuPaul. I don't want to see any more snakes on this mother token island.
And then for the outfit, you also voted mostly in okay. Then there were quite a lot in high, but then also quite a lot in the low. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments why. I personally liked it. It was very kind of pink, a little bit fairy, a little bit kind of fun. So I don't know. Let me know why. After that, we have pasty from Cornwall. So for anyone that doesn't know, a pasty is a very British staple and it's from Cornwall. And it's basically pastry and then it's got some sort of usually meat filling. It's a little bit, I guess, like an empanada would be the closest thing I can think of for an international audience that might know what that is. That's kind of what a pasty is. Oh, also the reference that she said about Patsy Palmer being her original name and then she changed it and then she went, Ricky! That's because there was an actress in a soap opera called EastEnders, and the actress was called Patsy Palmer, and she played a character called Bianca, and her husband was called Ricky, and in the show she was always like yelling at him and yelling his name, which is why she went, Ricky! Anyway, so that's a reference to a British soap opera. I really enjoyed Pasty. She was definitely giving me very British drag queen vibes. Like she was big personality, really campy, really funny, was like kind of taking the mick out of herself. And, you know, I really enjoy that side of it. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of the Pasty. And I am quite partial to a Pasty as well, it must be said. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, perhaps unsurprisingly, Pasty did get actually a really high vote in the personality. You voted mainly in high, but then a decent amount in okay. In terms of the outfit, you actually voted more towards the bottom end. So it was kind of the okay and the low side of it. I feel like, although I think she looks good, it was very, I guess, fairy, but kind of on the nose. Maybe we've seen it quite a few times on Drag Race. I don't know if that's maybe why, but I do think it looks really good. The color and the way it fits and the actual make, the quality of it is really good, but maybe not the most original idea. After that, we have Select's Addiction from Leeds. Can I just say, first of all, Select's Addiction is such a good name. Like, I love a pun. The UK queens absolutely love a punny name. I really loved Celexa. She seemed so fun, such like really big personality. Again, she reminds me of another queen, but I just can't put my finger on it. I don't know if maybe I'm just like becoming brain dead to all the Drag Race stuff, so maybe I'm just seeing things that aren't there or whatever. But definitely when I looked at her, I was like, you really remind me of someone. I just can't think who. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, for personality, it was actually a tie between high and okay. So I guess more towards the high end, but the okay sort of surprised me. I would have put her more towards the high. And in terms of the outfit as well, she definitely got more on the high side, but then also a decent amount in okay as well. After that, we had Chai Tea Grande from London. She also mentioned that she is of Thai descent, which is very much sort of an inspiration for her in drag. And it actually, interestingly, means that she is the first UK contestant to be of Thai descent, which I think is really cool. And I think it's really good that they're having representation of not just sort of UK culture, but all of these other cultures as well. In terms of her personality and everything, I do feel like she was maybe slightly more subdued than some of the others. She came across as being very fun and very sweet. But again, it is difficult to get your personality across in just a couple of minutes on a TV show like this. So I think I'll sort of reserve more judgment for when we actually see her in the show. So if we move on to the Have Your Say poll, we can see that she did get more votes in the okay and the low side for personality. Again, I feel like maybe it's just because she was that just a little bit more introverted slightly, or just didn't quite give as much as some of the others. And then outfit wise, I guess maybe it was just not quite as elaborate as some of the others, but you got mainly the votes in the okay and also the low category as well. Next up, we had Bonnie and Clyde from Dublin, Ireland. And this is really cool because just as a very, very quick geography lesson, so Northern Ireland is in the UK. The UK is made up of 4 countries, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And then Ireland, or the Republic of Ireland, which is not part of the UK. It's a totally separate country. They use a different currency. So normally people from the Republic of Ireland, or just Ireland is what people mainly call it, would not be eligible to be on Drag Race UK. So Bonnie and Clyde is actually the first ever queen from the Republic of Ireland to be on Drag Race UK. And I assume the reason she's able to be on it is because she now lives in Manchester, which is in England, which is in the UK. Again, I really liked Bonnie. I thought she seemed very fun. She had the charming Irish accent, different to the other Irish contestant. You'll notice like the accent is different from Ireland and Northern Ireland, like they are different, but still very charming. I thought she was very fun. I liked the outfit. I liked that she was talking to like the birds and stuff. And obviously I do love a good drag pun name. Obviously, it is a play on Bonnie and Clyde. And she said she wasn't technically named after them. It was actually her dead cats who were called Bonnie and Clyde. And that's who she's named after. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, you gave Bonnie the highest amount in the high category. And then after that, it was the okay category. And then for the outfit, you gave mostly okay. Then it was high and then a decent amount of low as well. After that, we had Catherine Feelings from Rhondda Valley, Wales. We have had quite a few Welsh contestants on Drag Race UK before, but what I loved was Catherine, first of all, it's a drag pun name, which we've established I love, but also Catherine has such a strong Welsh accent. She is so Welsh. I love the Welsh accent. And a little bit of background, I am actually of Welsh descent myself. I do have some Welsh blood in me. My mum's side of the family is originally from Wales. So I love hearing the Welsh accent. Maybe it's kind of like, calling back to my ancestors.
The cheek, the nerve, the gall, the audacity, and the gumption.
But I personally love the Welsh accent. She definitely comes across as being very stereotypically Welsh, like up for a good time, very funny, like doesn't take it so seriously. So I personally really enjoyed that side of it. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, for the personality section, it was actually kind of mixed, which surprised me. I would have definitely put her in the high category, but she kind of was split between high, highest, and also okay. So yeah, I don't know why. And for the outfit, she mainly got okay and low. I guess maybe it's because she was sort of another sort of fairy with the wings, maybe because we've seen it quite a lot of times. It's not maybe as innovative as some of the others, although I still think she looked good. And finally, we have Viola from Coventry. So some of you may know this, but Viola actually competed on Queen of the Universe Season 2, which was a drag singing competition, a little bit like The Voice or X Factor, but for drag performers. And there have been quite a few contestants from that show on Drag Race itself. And last season you had Lavoie, who also was on Queen of the Universe. So definitely Viola is going to be bringing the vocals and the singing because she did it quite a lot in her Meet the Queens. And that's obviously a big part of her personality. And why not? If I could sing, I definitely would. But I sound a bit like a strangled cat. I liked Viola, though. I enjoyed her Meet the Queens. I thought it was fun that she was using the singing part because that's obviously something that she's known for. She didn't mention the Queen of the Universe. Maybe she was told that she wasn't supposed to. I don't know. But it is technically kind of a Drag Race related show. I really enjoyed her personality. Her makeup definitely almost was giving me a little bit that kind of Crystal Versace, like very like, with the eye makeup, but I don't think there's any relation there. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, for personality, she got the most amount in high and okay. But for the outfit, she definitely got the most in the high category, which I would agree with. I did really enjoy her outfit. And moving on to the last question of the Have Your Say poll, which was, which of the queens are you most excited to watch on the season itself based on just the Meet the Queens? And the results were Page 3 came out on top with 30.4% of the vote. Then it was Bones with 23.2%. And then in joint second place, it was Nyan Bella and Bonnie and Clyde. And I can definitely see why. I think those queens maybe just exuded something that some of the other queens maybe didn't. But again, this is just the Meet the Queens. So you do have to sort of take it with a pinch of salt in some ways because it's quite different to sometimes what the actual season can be like. In terms of the comments from the Have Your Say poll, first of all, I want to say I did make a little bit of a mistake.
Oh, here we go.
Which was, I accidentally set it so that you had to have a minimum of 200 characters in the text box rather than a maximum of 200 characters. So people were writing things like, I'm just typing extra stuff because I have to fulfill the 200 character minimum. So sorry for that. So some of the comments were a little bit long, but quite a lot of the comments were saying things like, Bones selects her page 3, I'm obsessed. Can definitely see them putting Bones and page 3 in the bottom 2 together. A few people made a comment that they thought that a lot of the queens looked quite similar because it was sort of like a copy paste with the blonde, especially wigs. And I guess if you do look at the promo, there were quite a lot of queens in blonde and maybe some of the styles were quite similar. I do wonder whether that was either a coincidence that maybe they just so happened to wear a lot of blonde hair for the promo, but also I guess with the promo, they are given a theme. I don't know what the theme was, but if it was something to do with like the jewels and that kind of side or pastels or something, I do wonder whether that is why they kind of look similar because obviously the promo has a theme. But I guess we'll find out in the rest of the season whether those queens are actually quite similar or maybe their drag is actually quite different to what we're seeing. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought of the Meet the Queens and let me know what part of Drag Race UK and what challenges are you most looking forward to. Okay, finally, we're going to move on to some recent drama that's unrelated to Drag Race UK, which involves season 17 contestant Lexi Love having legal action taken against her due to her name. So the drama started back a few weeks ago when someone named Lexi Love, whose apparent legal name is Selena Scola, posted on Twitter saying that Lexi Love from Drag Race was using her name, which was copyright infringement, and started taking action against Lexi. According to this Lexi's Twitter bio, she is a SAG-AFTRA actor, which stands for the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. She also says she's an AI architect and sustainable fashion entrepreneur. On the 9th of August, Lexi tweeted a lengthy tweet which said, "Clarification regarding misidentification and trademark infringement. The RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17 contestant using the name Lexi Love on Paramount Plus/MTV/World of Wonder platforms is not me. Use of my name by RuPaul's Drag Race contestant Barnes, which is Lexi's legal surname, and affiliated promotional platforms, including in performance, booking, DBA, and promotional materials, is unauthorized, non-consensual, and constitutes trademark infringement. For absolute clarity, I was not a contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race. I am not transgender. I am not a person living with HIV. I am not a person who was formerly unhoused. I have never been trafficked in the sex market. I am not suffering from drug addiction, nor have I ever attended rehab for drug addiction. These personal disclosures were made publicly by the contestant while using my name in commerce without consent. Such infringement causes significant brand confusion, damages my personal and professional reputation, and creates false associations with experiences and conditions that do not apply to me or my brand. Lexi Love is my federally registered trademark, with first commercial use in 2004 and a prior WIPO domain dispute win confirming exclusive rights. She finished by tagging Lexi, Drag Race, and the other studios and said, "By taking my name and using it without consent, you are erasing my 2-decade legacy and identity actions that directly contradict the values of consent, authenticity, and respect that the LGBTQ+ and marginalized communities champion for. Immediately cease all use of the Lexi Love name." Lexi then followed this up with another tweet, which was a formal cease and desist, which said, "This is a formal legal notice regarding the unauthorized commercial use of my federally registered trademark, Lexi Love." At first, it seemed that people online thought this might be a joke or that this was an AI bot. However, Lexi followed this up with several other tweets where she shared screenshots showing that Spotify, Apple Music, Facebook, and Cameo had removed Drag Race Lexi Love's content from their platforms due to the copyright infringement. So at this point, people then started talking about this on social media because it became apparent that there was an actual serious issue that was having wider ramifications. On Twitter, people commented on Lexi's infringement tweet, saying things like, "No one gives an F." Lexi replied to multiple comments with similar replies that many people felt sounded like it was written by AI. But the replies were basically saying that copyright infringement is a serious issue and is damaging her career. Up to that point, Lexi from Drag Race hadn't responded to the situation publicly, but a few weeks after the original Twitter post came out, Lexi addressed the situation by posting, "Due to recent trademark allegations by Selena Scola, aka Lexi Love, I do not know if my accounts will remain active, unfortunately. So be warned, if you noticed my music removed from Spotify and iTunes, this is also why. Please stay tuned." Lexi posted a few follow-up posts on her Instagram stories, saying that due to these legal issues, some venues had decided not to book her. Lexi reposted an article by Deadline in which they reported that the other Lexi, aka Selena Scola, has also worked as an adult movie star. Lexi also posted a screenshot of an article she did with Out.com. In the article, Lexi gave a statement to Out which said, I've been using Lexi Love since 2009. She was apparently being tagged as me, which is how she discovered me, and then 2 months after I was announced on TV, she reinstated an old trademark she no longer had and is now attacking my social media, Cameo, and streaming music. I've had 3 venues pull out and cancel dates because she is sending them also cease and desist emails and just harassing them. She made a post speaking negatively about my trials and tribulations I opened up about on the show, including my HIV. My team reached out and have had no return communication from her, and she just keeps reporting my accounts. I offered a licensing agreement, terms, anything, but she's just continuing to attack me online. At this point, I'm considering, and more than likely will be, having a Name Me contest or something like that so I can keep as much of my brand and social media intact before she ruins everything I have worked for and erase me off social media. This is something I've been quietly dealing with for a short month now with my team, who's small but mighty, and it's definitely been taking a toll on us. I don't know what happened, but the drag gods were looking down upon me yesterday, brackets, or whenever it was. I'm on my way to Australia for a tour, so time is a little wonky for me right now. But it has been so uplifting to see all the fans and community coming together to support me as I navigate this. I've been through so much this year, and it was never what I pictured my journey to look like, but I continue to learn and grow every day, taking it step by step. Lexi then reposted screenshots of people defending her and calling out the other Lexi, saying that she is a failed actor, failed musician, and a proud AI supporter. Lexi also posted a photo of former US President Bill Clinton with Monica Lewinsky, but Lexi had superimposed her face over Monica's. And the post said, "Good morning, Kingdom. Due to Voldemort attacks, I'm trying out new names since I'm out here stealing identities and whatnot. I give you Lexi Lewinsky." I also saw that Lexi previously reposted a screenshot of a Twitter user who posted what looks like the copyright record for the trademark Lexi Love. In the post, the Twitter user said, "Turns out this lying hoe, Selena Scola, didn't trademark Lexi Love until December 2024, original application February 24. Furthermore, her trademark is for both human and digital talents generated by AI, and seeing that the drag entertainer at Miss Lexi Loves You is only human, ... Since then, it looks like the other Lexi's original Twitter post has had a community note attached to it which says, "The owner of this trademark repeatedly let it lapse, including much of the time period that season 17 of RuPaul's Drag Race was filming and airing. The drag queen Lexi Love has been performing under that name for nearly a decade before season 17 began airing." Drag Race Lexi Love doesn't seem to have said any more about the situation since then. However, the other Lexi has made multiple other Twitter posts criticizing the fans who are defending the other Lexi, and she also called for Twitter and Instagram to enforce the trademark and remove Lexi's accounts. At the time of recording this video, I've checked and I can confirm that Drag Race Lexi's Instagram and Twitter accounts are still active. But her music does not appear when I search for it on Spotify or Apple Music, and her Cameo profile also does not appear either. So it seems that there may still be ongoing issues with the trademark, and we'll have to wait and see if any further information comes out about this in the future. So there you go, Governor. There was the Drag Race UK Season 7 Have Your Say for the Meet the Queens. Let me know in the comments what your favourite thing about Drag Race UK is, and how do you think this season of Drag Race UK is going to stack up against previous seasons? If you'd like to get access to exclusive content, extended versions of my videos, early access, Patreon chat, all of those lovely things, please check out my Patreon. It's a quick and cheap way to support my channel, and it really does make a huge difference, and I'll leave a link to my Patreon in the description. And I'd like to give a massive thank you and shout out to all of my amazing Patreon members. You are all literally legends. It's honestly so amazing for me to have you all here supporting me and to speak to you on Patreon. So honestly, thank you so, so much from the bottom of my heart. It really does mean a huge amount. Please make sure you give these videos a like and a comment because it does really help boost it in the algorithm and promote it to more people. And make sure you smash that subscribe button and try and help me get to 150k by the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me again for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets, and drama. Thank you so much. Bye.